Did you know there are strange and unusual laws in different parts of the world? Laws that'll make you scratch your head and say, wait, what? We're talking about the kind of laws that seem like they were dreamt up by a bored bureaucrat after one too many cups of coffee. Buckle up, because we're about to embark on a wild ride through the wonderful world of weird laws, where the only rule is, there are no rules. Well, there are rules, but they're completely bonkers. All right, let's kick things off in Switzerland, a country known for its stunning scenery, delicious chocolate, and apparently, a deep-seated aversion to public swimwear. That's right, in certain parts of Switzerland, you can be fined for strolling around in your swimsuit outside of designated pool or beach areas. Now you might be thinking, John, why on earth would anyone outlaw the glorious sight of a man in a Speedo buying groceries? And to that, I say, I don't know, but I'm sure there's a perfectly reasonable explanation. Okay, maybe not, but the law does exist, particularly in the canton of Ticino, and it's meant to preserve the decency of public spaces. Apparently, the sight of a stray swimsuit strap is enough to send the Swiss population into a moral tailspin. But here's the thing, the law is a bit vague. It doesn't explicitly define what constitutes indecent attire, leaving it up to the discretion of local authorities. So, what exactly constitutes a swimsuit in the eyes of the law? Is it a bikini, board shorts, a wetsuit? Could you get away with wearing a Speedo under a trench coat? These are the questions that keep me up at night. The fines for violating this sartorial statute can vary, but they're typically in the realm of a few hundred Swiss francs. So, if you're planning a trip to Switzerland and you're thinking about packing light, you might want to reconsider. Unless you're okay with risking a hefty fine for the crime of wearing swimwear in public. But hey, maybe there's a silver lining to all of this. Think about it. No more having to witness pasty tourists in Speedos waddling around town squares. Maybe this law is actually doing us all a favor. Still, it's a pretty bizarre law, and it just goes to show that even in the most picturesque and seemingly sensible of countries, there are always going to be a few head-scratching regulations lurking beneath the surface. So, next time you're tempted to judge another culture's customs, just remember the Swiss and their aversion to public swimwear. It could always be weirder. Hold on to your chopsticks, folks, because we're about to dive into a law that's so specific, so bizarre, it could only come from the land of the rising sun. In Japan, the country that brought us bullet trains, robot restaurants, and those little cat cafes where you can sip tea with furry overlords, it's illegal to eat carrots in bed. Yes, you heard that right. Carrots in bed. Verboten. Now, I know what you're thinking. John, is this some sort of elaborate prank? Are you trying to pull a fast one on us? And to that, I say I wish I were making this up. But alas, this is a real law, or at least a persistent urban legend, with enough traction to make it onto our list of weird laws. The origins of this peculiar prohibition are shrouded in mystery, but there are a few theories floating around. One popular explanation is that it stems from a superstition that eating carrots in bed will bring bad luck. Apparently, in Japanese folklore, carrots are associated with death and misfortune, and consuming them in a place of rest is seen as tempting fate. Another theory posits that the law is a holdover from a time when Japan was facing a carrot shortage. To prevent people from hoarding carrots and driving up prices, the government allegedly banned carrot consumption in certain situations, including bedtime snacking. Whatever the reason, the fact remains that in Japan, you're better off sticking to rice crackers or those little fish-shaped snacks filled with bean paste when you're feeling peckish in the bedroom. Carrots? Not so much. But hey, maybe there's a bright side to this whole thing. Think about it. No more late-night carrot cravings keeping you up at night. No more crunchy carrot bits finding their way into your sheets. And most importantly, no risk of incurring the wrath of the carrot gods. Still, it's a pretty weird law, and it just goes to show that even in a country as technologically advanced and culturally rich as Japan, there are always going to be a few oddball regulations lurking in the shadows. So the next time you're tempted to eat a carrot in bed, just remember, you're not just breaking a rule, you're potentially tempting fate itself, or, you're just eating a carrot. Chapter 3, Australia, the land down under, where potatoes are king. Sort of. G'day mates, let's hop on over to the land of kangaroos, koalas, and apparently some very serious potato regulations. That's right, in Australia, a country known for its laid-back attitude and love of a good Barbie, it's illegal to have more than 50 kilograms of potatoes in your car. You heard me right, folks. Spuds, 50 kilos, in your vehicle. It's enough to make you say, crikey, that's a lot of potatoes. Now, you might be wondering, John, why on earth would anyone need more than 50 kilograms of potatoes in their car? And to that, I say, I don't know, maybe they're having a really epic potato salad competition? But seriously, this law isn't about stopping potato enthusiasts from going wild. It's actually rooted in a rather interesting bit of history. Back in the day, Australia had a pretty tightly controlled potato market. The government wanted to make sure that potato prices stayed stable and that farmers were getting a fair shake. So they introduced a bunch of regulations, including this 50-kilogram limit on potato transportation. The idea was to prevent people from buying up huge quantities of potatoes from independent growers and undercutting the official market. It was a way to protect the potato industry and ensure that everyone was playing by the rules. Now, whether this law is still strictly enforced today is debatable. After all, it's not like the Australian police are pulling over every car and demanding to weigh their potato hauls. But the law is still on the books, a quirky reminder of Australia's agricultural past. But hey, maybe there's a silver lining to this whole thing. Think about it. This law might just be the perfect excuse to avoid helping your mate move house. Sorry, Bruce. Can't fit your stuff in the ute. Already got me 50 kilos of spuds in there. Problem solved. Still, it's a pretty weird law, and it just goes to show that even in a country as vast and diverse as Australia, there are always going to be a few oddball regulations left over from a bygone era. So, the next time you're tempted to load up your car with a mountain of potatoes, just remember, you're not just breaking a rule, you're potentially disrupting the entire Australian potato market. Or, you're just transporting some potatoes. It's up to you. Chapter 4, Thailand, Land of Smiles. And shoes, apparently, so WASD crap everyone. Let's journey to the beautiful country of Thailand, a place known for its stunning beaches, delicious food, and apparently a strong preference for footwear. That's right, in Thailand, a country where flip-flops are practically considered formal wear, it's actually illegal to walk barefoot in public. I know, it sounds absolutely bonkers. But believe it or not, this law is a real thing. And it's not just some obscure rule that's never enforced. In fact, you can actually get fined for strolling around shoeless in certain parts of Thailand. Now you might be thinking, John, what's the deal with this law? Don't they know how hot and humid it gets in Thailand? A little fresh air for the feet never hurt anyone. And to that I say, I hear you. But there are actually some cultural and practical reasons behind this seemingly strange statute. For starters, in Thai culture, feet are considered the dirtiest part of the body. Walking around barefoot is seen as disrespectful, especially in temples or people's homes. It's kind of like blowing your nose in public in Western cultures. It's just not something you do. But beyond the cultural aspect, there's also a practical element to this law. Thailand is home to all sorts of creepy crawlies, from scorpions to centipedes to those giant millipedes that look like they could star in a horror movie. And let's not forget about the stray dogs, the occasional shard of broken glass, and the general grime that accumulates on city streets. So from a health and safety perspective, it kind of makes sense to encourage people to keep their feet covered. Now, I'm not saying you need to go full-on hiking boots in the middle of Bangkok. A pair of sandals, flip-flops, or even those flimsy plastic slippers they sell at the markets will do the trick. The point is, just make an effort to keep your feet off the pavement, and you'll be right as rain. But hey, maybe there's a silver lining to this whole thing. Think about it. This law might just be the Thai government's way of encouraging people to step up their shoe game. No more ratty old flip-flops held together with duct tape. It's time to embrace the wonderful world of footwear, people. Still, it's a pretty weird law, and it just goes to show that even in a country as famously relaxed and welcoming as Thailand, there are always going to be a few cultural quirks that might catch you off guard. So the next time you're tempted to kick off your shoes and enjoy the feeling of sand between your toes, just remember, you're not just breaking a rule, you're potentially committing a major cultural faux pas. Or, you're just walking barefoot. It's up to you. From Switzerland's aversion to public swimwear, to Japan's carrot conundrum, Australia's potato predicament, and Thailand's barefoot ban, we've explored some of the most bizarre and baffling laws from around the globe. Who knew that something as simple as wearing a swimsuit, eating a carrot, transporting potatoes, or going barefoot could land you in hot water with the authorities? But these weird laws are more than just amusing anecdotes. They offer a glimpse into the unique cultural norms, historical quirks, and sometimes head-scratching logic that shape societies around the world. So the next time you encounter a law that seems strange or nonsensical, don't be so quick to judge. There might be a fascinating story behind it, just waiting to be uncovered. What are some of the strangest laws you've come across in your own country or travels? Share your stories in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more fun and informative videos like this one. Until next time, stay curious.